play defense. They're currently ranked 24th. And talks of those struggles resurfaced last night when Kyle Kuzma apparently tried to shove LeBron into playing some defense. Now, this is getting a lot of circulation on the internet, so obviously it looks very odd. It looks as if Kuzma's just pushing LeBron into Gallinari to contest the shot. It's probably more likely that they didn't do the defensive switch and Kuzma kind of got stuck behind LeBron and was kind of giving him a nudge like, I didn't make the switch, get over there. But it's just kind of a visual metaphor for this entire season. Just confusion, lack of defense, LeBron not engaged. The whole thing is just, it's a crazy video to watch. So they've plummeted in the Western Conference. They're now 10th at 30-34.
Yep.
5.5 games out of the final playoff spot.
Yikes.
That was rough.
Yeah, rough.
Not that the Clippers are a good team, so it's not that it was a bad loss to a bad team like it was with the Suns. This is just a game you had to win. You had to will yourself to win in this spot.
It's been a bad week.
Yes,
lot of lost to good teams, lost to bad teams last night, lost to a average team.
I mean, lost to a team that you had to beat. You needed to win that game to stay in the playoff race. Sticking with last night's game, the Lakers were trailing in the final seconds of a 113-105 loss, and Patrick Beverley decided to get involved with the crowd. He started to wave his hands and orchestrate a chorus of boos from Lakers fans. Take a listen.
And the Lakers realize their fate. Patrick Beverley taunting the crowd.
Patrick Beverley is a good player, and he certainly plays with a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, he's one of the old school guys.
Yes, yeah, for sure. But the story of the Clippers and the Lakers this season is pretty interesting because everyone pretty much thought that the Clippers were just mailing it in for the rest of the season after that Tobias Harris trade. It looked like, okay, like whatever happens, happens. And they've made an incredible playoff push, and they're in 7th place in the West at 37-29. It looked like it was the end of the Clippers, really. And
that there's a strong belief in that organization. They're landing Kawhi Leonard. It's a very strong belief.
Yeah, and we've been talking about it all year, and they're in a good position. So it'll be interesting how those two teams trend moving forward in Los Angeles. And finally, with the NFL Combine coming to a close, the draft is approaching, and if the current betting odds are right, the Cardinals are going to take either Kyler Murray or Nick Bosa.
Okay, so Vegas has them tied.
Yes, they are co-favorites to go number 1 in the draft, which is interesting because we haven't really been talking about Nick Bosa at all. And Alabama defensive tackle Quinnen Williams is next, followed by Dwayne Haskins. So it's interesting. Now, the one thing that nobody's really talking about with Kyler Murray is he's only started one whole season.
Both he and Dwayne Haskins could really use another 12 games, but the bottom line is if I'm Kyler Murray with my body type, I'd rather get in the league. I'd rather get him in the league.
I'm with you there. I'm not saying that he should stay or anything like that. I'm just saying nobody's talking about his lack of experience. And when you compare what Baker Mayfield did in college to Kyler Murray, like everyone's comparing the two of them. They're not comparable.
You know, it's funny, Joy. Years ago, Bill Parcells used to have a couple of rules on quarterbacks. And this was college quarterbacks. And they were absolutely gospel in the NFL. One of them was no celebrity quarterbacks, Tim Tebow. Well, that's done. With social media, college quarterbacks do become stars. So that one no longer. The other one was 26 starts. And it's funny, I used to be very rigid on that. But we're seeing this in all sports now. Like NBA, 1 year to the pros. I think you just have to live with it. And I do believe the college game is now being pushed into the NFL game. It
translates more seamlessly now to the pros.
I used to be really rigid about that. Like, if you start 1 year, it's not going to work. Mitch Trubisky started 1 year and got to the playoffs. So I'm kind of pushing back on the have to have 28 starts because I think these guys come into the NFL now and they run a lot of their college offense. And I also think, Joy, these guys now, these kids have these 7-on-7 camps they didn't 15 years ago.
Yeah, no, they do play a lot more.
Way more.
They have different training, and they have access to more information, studying, tape, all of that. I'll give you all that. He started 17 total games. So
it's enough.
He's a little short of that. Bosa is 26. So, I mean, it really just depends on what you need. Again, I maintain that they should trade back. They should stick with Rose.
I always believe that. Yes.
You need so much more than just a quarterback.
We agree there.
But it's trending that way.
All right, Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
So I like Shaquille O'Neal. I think Shaq's very funny. He and Barkley, that show's very funny. Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson, very, very funny. Shaq has, and Shaq tends to do this. He's old school. But you have to, I mean, I'm old school too. I like a lot of things that used to be big. They're not as big. That doesn't mean I don't watch my Netflix. It doesn't mean I don't use tech. Doesn't mean don't have my iPhone. Shaq tends to be old school, Barkley old school. And Shaq was talking about LeBron James, the trade rumors, and how it bothered all the young kids. And here's Shaq defending LeBron and the trade rumors and how the young Laker players need to get over it.
That's what the hell you're